Hey everyone, what is up? I'm your host Chris, K-R-I-S, and this is a very important video. This is probably one of the most important videos I've ever made that you will watch. So if you are a long time fan or if you are a new viewer to my channel, I highly recommend that you watch it till the very end. It is honestly that essential to view. Basically, I created a Patreon. Now, if you don't know what Patreon is, I'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to state that I pride myself on, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for this, because honestly, I do pride myself on how honest and upfront and no bullshit I am with everyone watching since essentially day one. I have always been with you guys, honest guy. I at least hope so that you think the same about me. I've always been very honest and straightforward, and this is not going to be any different. I'm going to be talking about my channel and how it's run and the things I do, and essentially what I get back from the channel that keeps me going and what could honestly prevent me from continuing at this pace. So I'll get to that in a minute, but first off, if you don't know what a Patreon is basically like a Kickstarter in many ways. It is, picture this, a content creator like me is a little tree planted in the dirt, and Patreon is essentially you coming over with a water bucket and sprinkling it on me to help me grow. It's like so that's essentially what it is. It's support from the community, support from the fans. I don't like using the term fan because it makes me feel egotistical, but I think subscribers seems way too cold. So I'm just going to refer to fans right now unless you can come up with something better. I'm not going to come up with a nickname either for the fan base, you know, my little monsters, Lady Gaga. But that's essentially what Patreon is. It is a support group in a way to help their favorite content creators continue to do this at the pace they're doing it. Now that leads me on to why am I creating a Patreon? Why I made a Patreon? I made a Patreon because I've been essentially doing this channel full time since 2011, Easter, I think it was like a Monday, Easter Monday, when I originally made A Lover's Gaming. It was meant to be a side project. It was meant to be a cut loose stress relief to make these Minecraft videos, which I started off with, and it eventually went on to be something that brought in a couple of people that stuck around. Some of you are still here today, and I've just started making other content. I went on from Minecraft to Tenchu, and then I went to Heavy Rain and Bioshock, Lollipop Chainsaw, Tenchu 2, and it just kept going up. Like, there's so many games. Alan Wake, Catherine, which is one of the best games I've ever played in my life, and now I'm Pokemon Soul Silver and Silent Hill. And through doing that for 4 or 5 years at a full-time pace, I made enough revenue back to be able to buy this camera, the C920 you're looking at, or I'm looking at, this nice tripod, and my big ass PC, which is helping me create all these wonderful videos today. And it's all for you, so thank you everyone for the support and love over the years. I would honestly have quit many years ago if you weren't around. But having said that, as a YouTube partner, I make revenue per video I upload. Every time you see an ad on my channel, every time you see an ad on my video, it is giving me revenue back, so I can, in hopes, continue doing this, continue having this pace going, continue uploading all this content, and continue talking to everybody nearly on a daily basis, and creating these bonds and these relationships that I have made with so many. But I can't keep doing this at the full-time pace I'm going at with the revenue YouTube is bringing in through my videos, because of the honestly the lack of views they have. Now, to be more specific, to go into details on how much revenue I get per video and how much revenue I get per 1,000 views, my most viewed video ever Actually, not counting that because it's Catherine and it's a sex video, and sex videos don't get good ads because you know, these sponsors, they want family orientated content. If they watch my content and seen how much I cursed, they probably wouldn't give me any ads. but yeah, if it has sex in the title, the ads are low. But like Tenchu 2, Resident Evil, Tenchu 2 and Resident Evil essentially paid for all this right here. Like, it paid for that PC, it paid for the following bunch of games I bought, it paid for the webcam, it paid for me being able to live stream, it paid for all that. Those two games plus Digimon World and one or two other decently sized ones. But that's pretty much the ceiling on that. That's pretty much the not glass roof. It is made out of pure brick ceiling that can't be penetrated with the current setup and the current views that my channel gets, because I have 4,000 subscribers. I don't get 4,000 views per video. Another detail would be Haunting Ground last year. Great game. It was a really good game. It has some flaws, but it's a really good game. Many of you were asking me for a few years to get it. I wanted to play it for a few years. I got on eBay. If you go on eBay now, you'll see how pricey that game is. It's a PS2 classic from 2005. But goddamn, there's copies over €100. I was lucky to get one for about €38. And I think I had post and packaging also. I'm not entirely sure. That €38, when I made that playthrough, when I did that walkthrough, that blind walkthrough, and I uploaded all 26 parts. Part 1, I believe right now, is at 3,000 views, and the rest of the parts after part 1 are understandably much lower, because as YouTube works, when people are looking up games, they look at part 1 to see if they like it, and they screw everything else off. So you'll often see a channel with part 1 having 1 million views and part 2 having 200,000 views. It's honestly like that a lot. But part 1, 3,000 views, and every other part maybe 500 views, 600 views, and as you go higher in the number, the lower it gets. I probably made about, in total throughout that entire 26 part or so playthrough, I probably made about $6 off it. That's not even, I don't think that's even, that's not close to a quarter of how much I paid for the game to make the content with. And that's the kind of thing that is preventing me from continuing. That's the kind of thing that's preventing me from growing, because every time I need to make a new playthrough, I have to spend so much to get that playthrough just up onto YouTube, and what's given back is so small that I can't afford to do the things that I want to do, such as play newer games. Because they're like $60, $70, especially if they're digital these days, and Sony and Microsoft and Steam are trying to screw you. But seriously, digital, love it, but they really do try to fuck you over. Another example is Alan Wake. Alan Wake, 30 parts or so. People loved it, you loved it, great game, very repetitive. Definitely need to fix that shit if they're going to make another game. But about 30 parts. The final part of Alan Wake, as of the recording of this video, the final part of that walkthrough is at 56 views. That is probably about 5 cents. That is extremely low, and it took about 2, maybe 3 months to upload that game in total. And because of that, I may as well have not uploaded anything at all in terms of revenue, because that didn't help my channel grow. Nobody watched it like you guys watched it, which is great. But there's 2 reasons people upload videos other than for fun. One, to gain love and trust with their viewers. Basically the subscribers. The first reason is to please the subscribers. So you're like, oh, Chris uploaded a new video today, great. The second reason is to find new subscribers. So not only am I uploading videos to please you, I'm hoping someone out there that doesn't know me will stumble across it in the search, with maybe to type in Alan Wake Part 1, and there I am, to be like, oh, who's this guy? I'll watch him, I'll subscribe to him. Those are the 2 reasons why you upload a video. If you're not doing both with every single video you upload, that is a major problem. Like, you need to do both immediately. If the fans, if the current subscribers, if the current fan base isn't happy with it, they're not going to watch it. If the people who aren't subscribers aren't going to be able to find it, obviously they're not going to watch it. You're not going to get a subscriber, your channel's not going to grow, and in turn you're not going to get more revenue back to be able to continue this. Now, to get really real with you for a few minutes, I can't maintain this for too much longer at this pace. I honestly can't. I spend so many hours a day making content, and it is really cutting into my life, and the older I get, the more important. I sound like a 90-year-old. Get the fuck away. I sound like a 90-year-old saying that. But honestly, the social aspect of my life, non-existent. I am pretty much a hermit. And I spend so much time making this content. This is my life. I would like it to mean something besides making me happy. I'd like it to be a full-time thing that I'm doing that feels like a full-time thing. Now, the only way that would really happen is if I could get to maybe 100,000 subscribers and get 5,000 views per video. But that's not going to happen with the type of channel I have. I have a variety channel. I upload different playthroughs every month, every 2 months. I change games. Now, that's a good thing for a lot of you, but many of you don't like that. You don't stick around for the next game coming out. Some of you that are my regulars, you don't watch Pokemon Soul Silver. Some others aren't watching Silent Hill. And you know, there's channels out there. There's channels out there that they have a team going on. There's people with Minecraft only channels, and they're doing great. But I'd go crazy if I did that. And I know many of you, or all of you, don't want me to be stuck with one game forever. Excuse me. Sorry about that. You don't want me to be stuck with one game forever. You want to see me play new games. You want to see me play whatever game's coming out next. You're like, when's Resident Evil 2? When's Resident Evil 3? When's the next Tenchu? When's the next Pokemon? Like, I'm not even halfway through Pokemon right now, and you're like, when's the next one? You know, because you're really loving it. But it's just, it's not smart for me to do it. Like, it honestly isn't wise for me to do this at the full-time pace I'm going. So that's what Patreon is. Patreon is basically you saying, as a fan of the content creator, is basically you saying, this content that Chris is making is of value to me, and I will try to support him in continuing making this content. Now, it's not, there's like, if you want to do it, like, I want to be very, very, very open. There is like no minimum as far as I'm concerned. You can like a penny or something, but if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. You definitely don't have to. I don't want this to sound like an ultimatum. I don't want this to sound like I have a gun to your head. I don't want this to sound like I'm making you feel like you're less of a fan, less of a subscriber, or whatever you want to call yourself to me, friend. There's some of you I would honestly call friends, but now I'm guilting you. But I don't want you to feel anything of resembling guilt if you can't do this, if you don't want to do this, if you're financially not able to do this, don't. If you are able to do this and you don't want to, don't. If you are able to do this and you do want to, please do, because it would be extremely helpful. And when it comes down to it, there is a lot of benefits from this. Now that was all about me, how this is going to help out me. If you do it, it will help me continue this at the rate of like 5 days a week on average that I'm doing it, and the games I play. But that was all about me right there. I'm going to get on to why this is good for you. What you as a viewer, as a friend, as a subscriber, as a fan my content get from this, because it's not just beneficial to Chris. There's some games I don't play on this channel. You've noticed them if you've been here for a while. There's just some games I say no to. There's some games, if you've asked me on Twitter, if you've asked me in the comment section, you've probably gotten this reply to me. Chris, will you play this game? I'll look into it, or maybe someday I might get around to it. Yeah. The reason I say that is 2 reasons. Actually, it's 3 reasons. The first reason, obviously, I'll look at videos. Does it look like a game I'll be interested in? Like, I'll never do like Commando or something with the top down, or Age of the Emperors, which would be fun if I knew how to play it. I suck in that game. But I'd never really do anything like that. But some of you to be asking, why aren't you doing Metal Gear Solid? Your profile picture has been half of your face and half of Solid Snake since day one. Why aren't you doing Metal Gear Solid series? Well, the reason I'm not doing Metal Gear Solid series is because, one, Konami have copyright all over that crap. They do copyright claim everything, meaning that the second I upload that video, I'm not getting revenue off it. Like, for example, Silent Hill. You are loving Silent Hill. I think most of you would be in agreement with me when I say that's probably some of my best content I've ever made. And it's like, that is an instant classic in terms of my own commentary. Like, I really don't want to suck my dick there, but I do feel like in terms of quality of my own commentary and what's happening on screen, you know, the moments, the scariness, the ha-has, I think that is probably top 5. It's up there with whatever else I think would be great. And I rarely say that about my own work. Like, some of my work I'd say don't watch it. But part 1 of Silent Hill got a copyright claim from Konami. Part 1, again, the one that gets the most views. All the revenue that video makes, I don't get any of it. That goes straight to Konami now, sadly. So if that had 10,000 views, I wouldn't get a penny. But I don't do games like Metal Gear Solid because of Konami. I don't do games like Final Fantasy. I don't do games like Persona 3. I would love nothing more than to do Final Fantasy 8 and Persona 3. But the reason I don't do that is the Alan Wake situation. Nobody would watch it. No, it would take maybe 150 parts to do Persona 3. It'd probably take that. I've never 100% of that game, so I don't even know for sure. But I have beaten Journey, and it would take about 150 parts should I include a lot of the grinding. That's probably about 4 months of me uploading content. Maybe even 5 months of me uploading content. And I like to finish every single playthrough I upload. If I uploaded Persona 3 Part 1 right now, and Persona 3 fans that are subscribed to me seen it, they'd be like, oh my god, thank you Chris, this is the best, can't wait for Part 2. Then Part 2 goes up, can't wait for Part 3. If I upload Part 1 and that gets 200 views over the course of 2 weeks, that's really, really bad. That will not be able to be sustained throughout the next 4 months. I may as well not upload anything. Like, that's essentially what it will come down to. It'd be like I'm not doing anything at all with the channel. The smartest thing would be to cut it off completely. But, you know, I don't like to do that. You definitely don't want me to do that. It would destroy trust. I don't want to become one of those channels where, like certain other people, I won't name, Ghost Robo, who would upload like the first 14 parts. Oh, this video is not getting the same amount of views anymore. I'm not going to upload the rest of the playthrough. You know, I don't want to become one of those channels, but it is a very smart thing to do, to just cut off the dragon's head every now and then if it's failing. So I can't do Persona, I can't do Final Fantasy ever. And that was actually before Patreon. Now what this means is, for you, if you support me on Patreon, that essentially would make up way more than what I would make off those videos. Like, even if it's like a single dollar, a single euro would be essentially 1,000 views. Like, that's 1,000 views. And that is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, amazing. Meaning, if I am able to get support from this, I will be able to give you some games and some features and some other videos that I've never been able to do before for you. This includes, just to run down the list, long games like Persona 3, like Final Fantasy, JRPGs in general, Fallout New Vegas, you know, games that would take 200 parts to complete, but I would get really nothing for in revenue. If I get support from the Patreon, I could be able to do that because I've made what I needed to make from these videos without even uploading these videos. So that would be a goal. There's like monthly goals on it. That would be a goal as a thank you for your support. There's your game you suggested. Maybe you can suggest the games yourself, and if we reach our goal, then whatever game was suggested by the majority of you, or I don't know, we'll figure something out. Whichever game was suggested by you, I will do. If you want a new Minecraft series, you know, I can do that. If we reach our goal, I can do that. So that's what we'll get, and it will also put a lot of stress off my back, meaning I will be open to in time to be able to do more things. I'd have the time of day to not just sit down and record a let's play. I'll be able to do more vlogs. I'll be able to stream more. More people want me to do more Twitch. I don't do Twitch because, one, honestly, it's a little embarrassing. I'm a bit shy. But the main reason is I never really have any games to stream, because all the games I do get from the YouTube revenue goes to YouTube. And if I do it on stream and I beat it in a weekend, then that video is going to be uploaded in about 3 weeks, and I'm going to be like, oh crap, I kind of just blew through that game. I am essentially screwed for when I'll be able to do another one. And that is why I do a lot of emulator games, because they're free. You know, I just download the PlayStation 1 emulator, the PlayStation 1 thingamajiggy. But another benefit for you guys is that you get to see newer games from my channel. You get to see newer games. If I'm able to get the goal reached, there's like a monthly goal you can set up. If I was able to reach that goal, that goes towards newer titles. It's like, oh hey, why don't you play this game that's coming out this fall? Normally I'll say something like, that's $70. Do you know how many PlayStation 1 classics I can buy for $70? You know, do you know how many I could get? Hold on, I just moved my mouse. Do you know how many I could get for that instead of playing this one crappy game? But because that revenue I would already have for other things, such as AdWords and advertising, which would help my channel grow even better, instead of spending it on like Haunting Ground or something again, it would go towards that $70 game, that €70 game. So if you are able to support me, if you choose to support me, you essentially get more live streaming, you get more vlogs, you get topic videos if you want. If you have something around gaming or whatever you want me to talk about, it could happen because I'll have time to do it. You get, did I say live streaming? Live streaming, new games, topic videos, and essentially longer games of older games you want. The Final Fantasies, the Personas, a lot of you want me to do Tenchu Fatal Shadows. Not cheap from what I've seen. You know, it's not cheap for a PlayStation 2 game from like 2004. It is something I could possibly do a lot earlier. I did say I wanted to do it at 5,000 subscribers, but that's because I didn't want to get burned out on Tenchu. I didn't want to get burned out. I didn't want to burn you out on Tenchu. And another part of the reason was because it was a goal set. It was a set goal achievement as a reward for all your support. So if I could get the Patreon support over there, we could do Tenchu a lot earlier. Or I could go back and do other Tenchus. There's secrets with Tenchu 3 that I could do. There's a lot of games. I'm way open for suggestions when it comes to Patreon on what the rewards for the viewer, for you, the fans, the supporters could be. Do you want these games? Do you want these games played? Do you want me to do something else? What are your suggestions? This is very much a back and forth conversation. I've stumbled over my words a lot because this is a very serious topic and I don't take it lightly at all. And I really don't want this video to come across as what would be like disgusting. You know, I do take a lot of pride in everything I've built up so far without basically asking for help, other than the like, comment, subscribe at the end of videos. But realistically, it's gotten to a point where I want to continue this at the rate I'm doing it, but it would be wise not to continue it at the rate I'm doing it. I don't want this to become a weekend thing. I don't want to be uploading one video on a Saturday, another video on a Sunday, and then doing real life stuff Monday through Friday, because that I'm not an imaginary person inside of a computer. I do have responsibilities. I do have well, I don't have much of a life, but I'd like to have a life. I'd like to be more than a lover's gaming. And if you don't want to, don't feel obligated at all. It is just a piece of information I needed to put out there, and the benefits that you would get from it. So it's definitely not just about me. It is just as much about you. And thank you so much for everything you've given me over the years. And I'm not talking about views. I'm not talking about revenue. I'm talking about, you know, and I don't know if there's some of you I'd call friends. Some of you I'd just borderline friends. Some of you, if I met in the street, you know, if I met you in the street, I'd be like, holy shit, give me a hug. You know, that kind of way. And I'm not a social person at all. So that's a very rare thing for me, and I value it. So I don't want this video to damage your view of me. I don't want this video to harm any kind of maybe respect I've gained, that you've gained for me. And I definitely don't want this to be a black stain on my channel in some way. So if you can help and you want to help, please help. If you don't want to help, that's completely fine. I still love you. And if you're new to my channel, I don't really know what this video made you think of me at all. But either way, I'm wearing a blue top, my favorite blue sweater thingy, because I've noticed the last few pictures and content vlogs I made, I was wearing purple, and I'm wearing purple again today. So I was like, fuck that, they're gonna think I never changed. I'm gonna have to put on a sweater. I don't know why I admitted that, but thank you for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And it's starting to rain out, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for everything, and the Patreon link should be in the description. If you want to click it, click it. If you don't want to click it, thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye bye.